This is Over 100 Helldivers 2 tips, tricks, and secrets. Let's go. Reloading your weapon before your magazine is empty is faster than reloading on empty, and you'll get an average reduction of about 15 to 30% faster reload from this. Switching to first-person view not only improves accuracy, but also significantly reduces weapon recoil. You can switch your third-person aiming perspective to the opposite shoulder. This helps when engaging enemies from different angles. When running long distances with low health, don't heal immediately. Instead, run until your stamina depletes, then use a STIM. This restores your health and replenishes your stamina, making the STIM doubly effective in these scenarios. If a ledge is too high to climb, call in a resupply drop nearby and use it as a stepping stone to reach the elevated area. Some weapons such as the Stalwart, heavy machine gun, and the tenderizer allow you to adjust the firing rate. Other weapons allow you to adjust the firing style. To do this, just hold the reload button and select your desired mode. Diving extinguishes fires, but proning is faster and safer since it doesn't risk ragdolling your character, especially on uneven terrain. The jump pack allows you to delay falling long enough to avoid ragdolling, which can be especially useful on uneven terrain. Rebind your stratagem arrow keys to separate them from your movement keys on PC. This allows you to move while calling in stratagems, which can significantly improve survivability during intense fights. You can raise the flag faster if you stand near and use the salute emote. More teammates makes this even faster. Pause, I just need a moment of your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and leave a comment down below about any tips you'd like to share. Illegal broadcasts can be disabled from a distance without using the terminal. Simply throw a grenade at the broadcast and it's done. Going prone or diving provides a major increase in explosive resistance, reducing damage by about 75%. Use this whenever you're near an explosion. On the flip side, sprinting increases your vulnerability to explosive damage, so be careful. Using a STIM makes you invulnerable for a short duration. You can survive heavy gunfire, charges from enemies, and most attacks except for one-hit mechanics. If you call for an extraction, just as the Pelican is landing, step out of the extraction area. This keeps the Pelican hovering over the zone, firing at enemies from above, and clearing out many threats from a long distance. Enemies vary from mission to mission. Some will feature random variations. For example, some may include BILE variants like BILE warriors and SPEWERs, while others may not. To avoid being hit by your own sentries, lie prone underneath their barrels. Alternatively, standing on top of your sentries provides a wider field of view compared to lying prone. The minimap can help identify shapes or patterns that reveal objects or POIs. For example, you might spot a stalker nest by its distinct shape on the map. When attacking armored enemies, look for red sparks as a visual cue to confirm you're dealing damage. Blue sparks, or the absence of those sparks, indicate your weapon isn't effective against the target's armor. When carrying a large number of samples, drop them at the extraction point when passing by. This ensures that they are safe even if you or a teammate dies before boarding the Pelican. Drop pods are excellent for taking out large enemies like chargers and hulks. For optimum results, aim to land pods on critical spots, such as a Bile Titan's head, to potentially one-shot it or severely weaken its health. The SEAF artillery system doesn't display the firing order of missiles, but the sequence in which you load the shells will determine the firing order, so keep this in mind when loading. You can also save time by juggling SEAF artillery missiles. You hold sprint, drop the missile, sprint again, and pick it back up. Repeat this process to move faster. Additionally, you can throw SEAF artillery shells. To do this, you need to stand in front of the shell, press the pickup, then midway, swap weapons, and it will throw the shell. This can be mastered with practice. Lastly, you can gather all 5 artillery shells before activating the SEAF terminal. Interacting with the terminal triggers a swarm of enemies, making the process harder if you're unprepared, though some may say this tactic is a myth. You do not need to extract to complete a mission, gain experience, requisition chips, medals, or super credits. Extraction is only necessary if you want to collect samples. If you've already gathered enough samples, extraction becomes optional. Orbital barrages have a maximum effective blast radius of about 50 meters. Staying outside of this range guarantees your safety. For shell-based shotguns like the Punisher and Slugger, reload one shell after each shot to eliminate downtime. This technique allows you to keep firing without pausing for a full reload. You can use your own stims to heal your teammates when they're low. Firing explosives at the ground beneath chargers or impalers deals full damage to their vulnerable belly. With proper angles, you can even target a charger's rear from the front. Bile spewers can be taken out with a single impact grenade as long as it lands nearby. This trick doesn't work effectively with other grenade types. The shield generator pack can absorb one full hit, even from a 500 kg bomb explosion. This makes it an excellent choice for survival in high damage situations. You can turn off your HUD by setting a keybind. By default, this isn't assigned, so you'll need to configure it manually. This is great for scenic screenshots or playing in a more immersive, realistic mode. The SEAF artillery remains operational during electrical storms, stratagem jamming, and even after the mission timer ends. This can come in clutch for surviving at the end of a mission. As a last resort, you can use blue beacon stratagems to close bug holes if you're out of ammo or grenades. If you aim your gun at a teammate and press fire, they will die. You can avoid this by not aiming your gun at your teammate. Smoke grenades obscure enemy vision, causing automatons and other enemies to attack the last known location they saw you. Use this to reposition or escape effectively. Tesla towers cannot hit you when you're prone. You can even lie beneath them, shoot at enemies, and stay safe. If you look backwards while running, you can shoot one-handed weapons like secondaries, SMGs, and even the exploding crossbow. When turning the satellite on during the LIDAR station objective, you can listen for this audio cue to know that you are in the green and can proceed on the terminal. This is especially useful for solo play. You can hold reload to change your zoom level on several weapons. Patrol spawn rates aren't tied to the game's timer, but instead increase as you complete primary objectives or clear nests. When fighting Bile Titans and Chargers, focus your shots on the same body part. Each limb and section of their bodies has a separate health pool, so spreading your fire wastes both ammo and time. You can hear stalkers before you see them. They emit a directional snarling sound, giving you time to prepare for an encounter and avoid being caught off guard. Instead of running away from a charging charger or brood commander, move sideways and back towards where they came from. This stops their charge and prevents them from chasing you indefinitely until you run out of stamina or distance. If you're struggling to hit an automaton fabricator spawner, wait for the door to open and shoot or throw a grenade inside. Although it may take a few more grenades than normal, it's still a cool trick. The cooldown time of heat-based energy weapons such as scythe, sickle, dagger, quasar, jump pack, etc. are directly impacted by weather. Extreme heat makes them take about 4 seconds longer on average, and extreme cold makes them 4 seconds faster on average. Coordinate your loadout to the terrain. Autocannons are powerful enough to destroy factory vents and bug holes with a single shot. However, be careful with your angle to avoid ricochets, as that can reduce the effectiveness. Shriekers can't hit you if you're prone or sprinting away from them, especially when they're attacking you from behind. Blue beacon stratagems follow their marker and will land on the beacon even if it's moving. Red beacon stratagems, however, only land where the marker was originally placed. When using the recoilless rifle, you can skip the last stage of reloading by standing up when the rocket icon becomes white, skipping the final locking animation and essentially saving you 1 second of reload time. The way to do this is to open your stratagem menu when you see the ammunition turn white. LIDAR stations are crucial as they reveal the full map, including side objectives and points of interest. This allows you to avoid static enemy positions and strategize effectively. Prioritize activating these early in a mission if possible. If a mission timer runs out, the evacuation shuttle is automatically called in. This eliminates the need to manually call for extraction or stay in the extraction zone, significantly reducing enemy pressure. Enemies can damage their own units and structures through friendly fire. Position yourself strategically to redirect their attacks. For example, a Bile Titan could spit their acid on other bugs. The anti-material rifle is highly accurate even when fired without a scope, despite lacking a visible crosshair. In addition to their heads, impalers have gaps in their armor that can be targeted from certain angles for bonus damage. If your teammate has a supply pack and is running towards you like he's possessed, he in fact does not have the plague and simply wants to help you. Hellbombs have a large radius and are able to take down Bile Titans even from a distance. Save them for groups of chargers or Bile Titans when in a pinch. You can leverage environmental elements to your advantage. For example, you can use frost plants to stun enemies that are walking near them by shooting the frost plant, activating it, causing it to slow those nearby units, making it easy for you to gain the upper hand. When extracting solo, staying in the extraction zone can lead to overwhelming enemy waves. Instead, let the map timer expire to trigger an automatic extraction. This method spawns fewer enemies at the extraction point, allowing you to return to the zone with little resistance. If a blue beacon is about to land on your shield generator, it's better to drop the shield generator temporarily to avoid inevitable death. If you look up, your guard dog will rise in the air. If you look down, it will sink to the ground. You can use this to potentially prevent friendly fire. Detection towers from automatons can be eliminated by simply throwing a 500 kg bomb. This avoids direct confrontation with reinforcements the tower may summon. Diving is an incredibly powerful tool in Helldivers 2. It can make automatons miss their shots, help you avoid hunters, extinguish fires, and more. Spamming dive when overwhelmed can often be the key to survival. The rail cannon can eliminate nearly every enemy in one hit. One recoilless rifle shot is enough to kill chargers, impalers, hulks, and bile titans with a headshots. Factory striders can also be one-shot using the recoilless rifle if aimed at the strider's eye. Thermites can one-shot the following list of enemies. Eagle rocket pods may not be ideal against bugs, but are incredibly effective at one-shotting tanks, towers, and several other objectives against the automatons. If you find a random hellbomb lying around, you can shoot it to cause a huge explosion. This can be useful for clearing enemies, even large armored ones like bile titans, tanks, hulks, etc. Understanding enemy weak points makes missions significantly easier, enabling you to dispatch tough enemies quickly with just a few shots. Stealth is an important mechanic in Helldivers 2. Patrols follow predictable linear paths, and you can use this to navigate around them. Additionally, you can distract enemies by creating noise using stratagems, grenades, etc., drawing them away from your position. You need to prioritize enemies properly to succeed. For example, when facing a large horde of terminids, focus the units that will close the gap first, like hunters and chargers, then deal with large and slower targets like bile titans and impalers. This approach significantly improves your chances of success during missions. Tactical retreats are essential in Helldivers 2. Constantly maintain distance from bugs and retreat when faced with overwhelming automaton forces or illuminate forces. Don't fear running into static enemy groups. They usually consist of only a few enemies. However, avoid nests, factories, and spaceships as they complicate your retreat. Focus on eliminating breaches and reinforcements quickly. Container doors can be opened using explosives, the AMR, the arc thrower, or even the slugger shotgun. The arc thrower doesn't need a full charge for every shot after the first. You can charge it about 60% afterwards for quicker follow-up shots, making it perfect for dealing with large swarms. However, if you stop firing or get interrupted, you'll need a full charge before you can get back to doing the follow-up shots. This technique becomes second nature with practice. Flamethrowers can take down chargers by focusing on their legs, using about 50% of a flamethrower's magazine. Eagle stratagems always attack perpendicular to your throw, except for the Eagle strafing run. For example, if you throw it facing north, the strike will come from east to west axis and not directly from the north. Brute commanders can summon warrior enemies from the ground. In higher difficulty missions, they get upgraded to alpha commanders, who summon faster and stronger alpha warriors. You can identify alpha commanders and alpha warriors by their reddish appearance and increased speed. Throwing stratagems at about a 45-degree angle achieves the maximum throw distance, which is about 45 meters. Adding a dive while throwing increases this distance, giving you a slight edge in deployment range. Injuries impact your performance in various ways. Arm injuries reduce accuracy and, if affected in the right arm, can also impair grenade and stratagem use. Leg injuries prevent sprinting and slow your movement. Chest injuries cause bleeding until you either die or use a STIM to stop it. Stealth mechanics in Helldivers 2 are influenced by several factors such as time of day, position, weather, smoke, and even armor perks. Automaton and illuminate reinforcement ships can be destroyed with things like the recoilless rifle. If all teammates bring the right equipment, you can effectively stop reinforcements altogether. You can fire the R36 eruptor more quickly by swapping to another weapon and back, skipping the bolt drawback animation. Use this for faster follow-up attacks. You can easily dispatch of harvesters from the illuminate by breaking its shield, then shooting its leg joint. Some weapons most effective would be the standard MG and the heavy MG. On swampy planets with large trees, bombs from Eagle stratagems can get caught in branches, rendering them ineffective. To avoid this, aim for clear areas when throwing them. You can use the railgun in unsafe mode by holding reload and switching to such. The railgun reaches its maximum damage output at around 90%. Listen for the subtle sound effect that signals this charge. Once familiar with this, you'll know exactly when to fire for optimal damage. However, if you exceed this, the gun may explode on you. If you'd like to keep enemies to a minimum, avoid engaging things such as bug nests, automaton fabricators, and illuminate ships unless absolutely necessary. Destroying these can make the game more challenging by increasing patrol spawns. Unless you're farming for extra XP or chips, or tackling a blitz mission, there's no real advantage in removing them, though you may be tried for treason. You can ping friendly side objectives, marked in blue, to reveal them on the map. However, enemy side objectives such as nests or fortresses won't be revealed through pings. Orbital stratagems fire directly from the ship or space station, not always from above your character. Obstacles like tall structures may block the shot, so keep this in mind when targeting objectives. By getting close to a bile titan, you can force it to pause and either attempt to stomp or spew bile, both of which are easy to avoid with diving. Use this opening to land heavy attacks like a 500 kg bomb or orbital precision strike. Melee attacks can stagger enemies mid-swing, giving you a brief window to counter or reposition. Gas from any source not only damages enemies, but confuses them too. This will cause them to shoot at one another more often, giving you time to pick them off or disengage from the fight. If you don't have any heavy firepower left for dealing with a Hulk, throw a few impact grenades under its legs. This targets the heat sink behind it, quickly neutralizing the threat. The following weapons can close bug holes: the grenade launcher, exploding crossbow, grenade pistol, and even the autocannon. Each faction has specific units that call in more enemies, as seen below. Make sure you try and eliminate them ASAP or else they will call in reinforcements. The Quasar Cannon and Commando Launcher fire projectiles without an arc, allowing for precise targeting over long distances without adjusting your aim. Spore Spewers often hide a large number of samples beneath them, so check these spots after taking some out. The Dead Sprint booster allows for unlimited sprinting without using stamina, but drains health over time. Pair it with the Vitality Enhancement booster to greatly slow the health drain, extending your sprint time to as long as about 2 minutes. The STIM pistol works with the Experimental Infusion booster, allowing you to spam stims into your teammates. This boosts both their speed, damage resistance, and healing. Shooting spores on the ground can propel you across the map. While it's a rare and difficult trick to use effectively, it can occasionally be useful. However, the blast is unpredictable and can cause significant or even fatal damage. Lastly, to keep the morale high, give your teammates hugs often, because even in terrifying times, a little warmth goes a long way. I hope these tips and tricks help you become a pro Helldiver. Now go spread that democracy.